Alright there guys, and welcome back to another video. Right, as you can see from the title, we're talking about something that I have not talked about in almost 3 years. So, let me set the stage for you. It's January 24th, 2019, exactly 3 years ago today. And I went to go watch Dragon Ball Super Broly in the cinema. And the movie was quite successful and very, very good. But straight after that, the voice actor who plays Broly in the English dub of Dragon Ball, Vic Mignogna, was fired from Funimation and Rooster Teeth in the space of a day. This seemingly came out of absolutely nowhere, as no one was expecting this to happen, and then it just did out of the blue. This happened because a lot of people, mostly voice actors within Funimation itself, started making allegations about Vic Mignogna, which prompted Funimation to fire him and then Rooster Teeth to do the same. And the two main people involved with this, with getting him fired, are Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi, who are both voice actresses that work at Funimation. And Monica Rial now works at Rooster Teeth, as she was hired the very day after they fired Vic. That seems a bit suspicious, doesn't it? And all of these allegations came out after Vic, at the premiere for Dragon Ball Super Broly, because he wouldn't sign a piece of yaoi fan art, simply because he said it's not canon. This threw out allegations that Vic's a homophobe, even though there's a video on YouTube of him literally confronting anti-LGBT Christian protesters. There's a video of him confronting them, despite being Christian himself. So, the two most damning allegations that were made against him were by Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi, as both of these women claimed that Vic sexually assaulted them. Now, those were the two allegations that basically ignited the flames that was this drama and scandal that still hasn't actually finished yet, as tons of people started coming out with their stories of how Vic treated them at conventions, where they made up allegations such as, oh, Vic was sexually harassing me, Vic did this, Vic did that, when every single one of these allegations, whether it was by the voice actors or by just regular people, every single one of these allegations got proven false. None of these things are true. Vic is actually completely innocent in all of this. But that's cancel culture for you, isn't it? Vic still gets horribly treated, gets fired from 2 companies in the space of 1 to 2 days, gets banned from certain conventions because the cons are basically being pressured by the fans and other voice actors into not inviting Vic. Other conventions were like, mate, swivel on it. If we want to invite Vic, we will. So certain conventions still invited him anyway and were like, mate, I don't care what you want. But other conventions buckled and either just didn't invite him in the first place or took his name off the guest list if it was on there. And this sparked 2 very big and opposing movements. The Kick Vic movement and the I Stand With Vic movement. These 2 big opposing movements have been going at each other for 3 years now. Well, almost 3 years. If you want to know which side I'm on, I've always been on the I Stand With Vic side. Because Vic is innocent. He didn't do any of the things people are accusing him of. Probably some of the worst of it is fans claiming that Vic touched them without their consent, right? And they showed a picture of Vic with that person at the con, only the person posting the pic isn't actually in the pic. Like, yeah, the photo that some of these people posted was not even of them. They just found a random con photo of Vic hugging one of his fans, posted it on social media and saying, I didn't agree to have Vic put his hands on me, even though the person saying this was not in the photo that they posted. This led to Vic feeling that he can't ever touch his fans, like hug them or fist bump or shake hands or anything with them because of all of this. Even though he never did any of these things that he's been accused of, it made him feel he's not even able to physically interact with his fans anymore. Of course, communication-wise, yes, obviously still talking to them, but like being able to hug them or anything, even if they specifically ask for him to hug them, he still wouldn't because of all of this. So this led to the summer of 2019, where Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, Monica's fiancé Ron Toy, and the Funimation company itself all received a lawsuit filed against them by Vic. And the person helping him with this lawsuit was a guy by the name, at least on YouTube, of Rakita Law. As Nick Rakita was his name, I'm pretty sure. Now, a lot of you might actually know who this guy is now. You may not have known who he was during this situation, but he live streamed the Kyle Rittenhouse trial from November last year, so you probably might know him because of that trial. But yeah, I knew about him a good nearly 3 full years before that when he was trying to help Vic win his lawsuit. Unfortunately, Vic's lawsuit ended up in a disappointing and disappointingly unsuccessful venture. So Monica, Jamie, Ron, and Funimation won the lawsuit. The lawsuit was on the basis of people conspiring against Vic in order to get him fired from Funimation, which still baffles me how you can not find evidence when YouTubers were making tons of videos exposing how Monica and Jamie planned everything out to get Vic fired, which of course worked. Now, Vic has also been a pretty big person in the world of Star Trek. And I think there's a new Star Trek series that's airing. Yeah, the actors from that are completely denouncing Vic as if he was never part of the world of Star Trek. Which is a pretty horrible thing to do, because Vic has been quite a big figure in the Star Trek community. He's been around it for a long time. And the fact that these new actors are denouncing him as if he never had anything to do with it, bit disrespectful. So, nothing really happened between the summer of 2019 when the lawsuit came to a close, which is the current state with the lawsuit is Vic is trying to get an appeal on that lawsuit. And even though he filed the appeal in 2019, here we are in 2022, and there still has not been a decision made on whether the lawsuit will actually get the appeal or not. Which wouldn't make much sense in a normal circumstance, But we live in COVID times, don't we? So there's a very reasonable explanation to why we haven't had a response yet on whether the lawsuit will get an appeal or not. So yeah, nothing big really happened in 2020 or even 2021 for Vic. He still managed to get to conventions, he still has gotten voice acting roles elsewhere. But he did indeed but due to the fact that he got fired from Funimation, that also means he will never voice Broly again in any Dragon Ball product. Meaning you'll have to go back and watch old stuff now if you want to hear Vic's voice as Broly. With, of course, Johnny Young Bosch being the voice actor that has become Broly and will be voicing him in the English dubbed version of Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which releases later this year. So, that's the backstory on everything that's happened on this situation so far. I, of course, also made 2 videos on this very topic when it first kicked off in February of 2019. And I even went back and rewatched them not that long ago. And wow, I was way too generous to Monica and Jamie. In those videos, I said, please don't give Monica or Jamie any hate. Because we need to show that we are better than them. What was I doing? Why was I being so generous to them? Why was I letting them off so lightly? The 2 of them literally claimed Vic sexually assaulted both of them. And he actually sexually assaulted neither of them. Monica's claim is one we actually know all the details. It was about a joke where Vic ate a jelly bean and it had something to do with Monica. I can't exactly remember what. Maybe her name was written on it. I'm not entirely certain. But this jelly bean had something to do with her. Vic ate it and then said, I ate Monica Rial. There was nothing sexual about the joke at all. Monica made it into that. And I don't really know. And the claim with Jamie March is that Vic ruffled her hair, which has since been proven completely false. And before we get into the new stuff, probably the worst feeling for Vic, and he talked about this when the situation first kicked off, is that the week before all of this drama and this massive scandal kicked off, Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial acted completely normal to Vic. He didn't feel they were going to backstab him, do anything. It was just as normal for him. The way that the 2 of them didn't seem any different to him whatsoever. And that was just a week before. They were being nice to him, friendly, just as they always had been. And they were always having a good time together. And that was just a week before they turned around and backstabbed him. Now, there's been speculation on what other reasons why Monica and Jamie would have done this. And some of the arguments are they don't like his religion. Now, the only voice actor who has openly said he hates Vic's religion, which is Christianity, is Sean Schimmel, the voice of Goku. But Vic has a feeling, and a lot of his fans have a feeling, that all the other voice actors won't say it, but they agree with that statement, that they hate his religion. And they probably hate his politics. Since Vic is a Christian, it's very likely he's a Republican, and he voted for Trump in 2020 and 2016. There's a very good chance that happened. And of course, if you've just been on any Twitter account of any voice actor that works for Funimation, it is a cesspool of just leftist garbage. Honestly, the biggest culprit I've seen over the last 3, 4, 5 years is Eric Vale, the voice of Future Trunks. He just can't stop spewing hatred to people who disagree with him and think differently to him. But yeah, enough about politics. I don't want to talk about that. But that is a potential reason and speculation of why they set all of this up to get him fired. And the latest allegation that's come out about him is that he was kicked out of LA Comic-Con, saying that he wasn't a guest and should not have been there. And Vic's response to that was that he never said he never claimed to be a celebrity or special guest at the con. He just went to the con because he wanted to see the fans and they wanted to see him. I can remember it very well that when this all kicked off in the beginning, any conventions that Monica Rial was going to, that Vic was also going to, that she couldn't pressure them into stopping him from going, she literally looked around, literally went to a different part of whatever state or city the convention was held in. Monica literally went to a different part of the city with her own, to set up all of her own stuff, and told the fans that they should go and see her rather than go to the actual convention itself, which is what all these people paid for and wanted to go to in the first place. So yeah, the whole Vic being kicked out of LA Comic-Con, even though he never said he was a special guest there, is the latest. But the latest and brand new information on this scenario that came out at the very, very end of 2021, the last couple of days of last year. Jamie Marchi made a tweet, and I only know about this because I saw, because it only appeared on my timeline on Twitter because someone else had liked it, and that's how it appeared. So, Jamie Marchi tweeted, "My favourite person to get sued with," meaning Monica Rial, "are going to be making a collaborative podcast to give our side of the story. They never mention Vic's name in the tweet, but my favourite person to get sued with," in referring to Monica. Who is the only person that has ever filed a lawsuit against these two women? Vic Mignogna. Exactly. So Monica and Jamie are going to be giving their side of the story to this whole situation. Now, what's weird about this is that isn't accusing Vic Mignogna of sexually assaulting the two of you giving your side of the story? Because if the answer to that is no, then why did you say any of that if that wasn't your side of the story? Now, I don't know when this podcast is releasing. It might have already gone up by the time this video goes up. And if it has, then well, actually, I might have to make a fourth part of this. Yes, I might actually have to make a fourth video on this scenario when the podcast does release, if I ever bother to watch it, because I don't know where it'll be or where to look for it. But if it's whenever it's out, and if I'm able to actually find a way of watching it, then I may have to do a fourth video on this situation. Because at the end of the second video I made on this situation, I said, I really shouldn't have to make a third video on this situation, but you never know. And well, almost 3 years later, here we are with that third video. So Monica and Jamie are going to be doing a podcast, giving their side of the story on this entire situation over the past 3 years. Now, this could be a very interesting, because this could actually be a very big deal in terms of the lawsuit that Vic is currently trying to appeal to get a redo of. Because this could go 3 ways. The first way it could go is it changes absolutely nothing about the lawsuit and the trial. Number 2, it could make Monica and Jamie's case look a lot better and decrease the chances of there ever being an appeal, and unfortunately screwing over Vic even harder. Or number 3, this podcast could end up massively backfiring on Jamie and Monica, because they might end up saying stuff that other YouTubers and other people can very easily expose, which would then help Vic even more to get his retrial and get his appeal done on this lawsuit successful. Who knows what this podcast is going to have in it, and who knows what the outcome of this podcast could be for this situation. This has to be one of the this has to be one of the longest anime scandals ever. Because it's been almost 3 years now, and it's still going. Thinking back, cancel culture was very prevalent in this situation of Monica and Jamie getting Vic fired. Because unfortunately, cancel culture is in the world of either you could have done something many, many years ago and people are going to say that you deserve to be condemned and criticised for it now, even though it's very unlikely that you are anything like you were back then. Or number 2, completely forget about the whole rule of innocent until proven guilty. Cancel culture is the other way round. It's guilty until proven innocent. And it doesn't even have to be... you don't even have to be proven guilty. It's just, you have to be proven innocent in order to not be guilty in the eyes of these people, when it should be the way it's always been, the other way around. Innocent until proven guilty. But it's not. And that is the new information on the Vic Mignogna situation. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Tell me if you've been following this situation over the past 3 years, just like I have. And what do you think of it? Whose side are you on? Are you on Monica and Jamie's side with the Kick Vic supporters, or are you on Vic's side with the I stand with Vic supporters like me? I remember when I said that very same thing in the second video I made on this situation. I said, I won't judge you for whichever side you take. What am I on about? I won't judge you for whatever side you take. If you take Monica and Jamie's side, you are believing liars. You are believing people who openly make up lies about someone to ruin their reputation And then when the person when the person's life they're trying to ruin fights back, they start playing the victim. No, if you are on the side of Jamie and Monica, then you clearly support cancel culture. But yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like if you have, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And until next time, catch you later.